This video is brought to you by a Fanshawe College Fitness and Health Promotion student. The client described is fictional, and any likeliness of actual persons is non-intentional. Meet Susan. She is 30 years old and a lawyer at a law firm. After being recently divorced, Susan has decided to focus on herself and rebuild her self-confidence. Susan's schedule is hectic, even without having any children, but she's made time specifically for her morning jogs every Monday, Thursday, and Sunday. She finds they're very relaxing and even therapeutic for coping with her day-to-day stress levels, and Susan runs about 4 kilometers in 30 minutes. Susan's physique is that of a mesomorph, so all throughout her life, weight control hasn't really been an issue. The reasoning for coming to us today as personal trainers is to prepare herself for a half marathon she's planning on running with a few girlfriends. Susan is 5'5" and 130 pounds. Susan has never had a gym membership, but she is ready to invest in one so she can use the facility's equipment. Susan only has 3 months to prepare for her half marathon. As of now, she runs 4 kilometers in 30 minutes, which is equal to 7.5 minutes per kilometer. Her goal is to finish the half marathon, or 21 kilometers, in 2 hours. At her current speed, Susan would finish in 2 hours and 38 minutes. To achieve her goal of 2 hours, Susan has to run each kilometer in 5.5 minutes, which is equivalent to running on the treadmill at 6.8 miles per hour, which doesn't seem too difficult, but can Susan sustain that intensity for that long? This chart, adapted from our 4th edition Exercise Physiology textbook, shows the different durations of physical activity where our aerobic system, or ATP created with oxygen, and our anaerobic system, or ATP created in the absence of oxygen, contribute the most energy production. As we can see, Susan will definitely be using her aerobic system, as her half marathon will take her at least 120 minutes to complete. So how can we improve Susan's aerobic system? According to the Canadian Society for Exercise Physiology, there are 3 components to aerobic training. Aerobic power refers to the maximum rate of oxygen consumption per unit of time. A greater aerobic power basically allows someone to do more aerobically based activities and to recover more effectively during rest breaks from high-intensity activities. Aerobic endurance is the relative intensity of exercise that an individual can maintain for a period of time. An improvement in endurance refers to either being able to maintain a set intensity for a longer period or being able to sustain a higher intensity for the same period of time. Aerobic capacity typically refers to how much oxygen can be assumed by a particular group of muscles for a period of time. The combined qualities of aerobic endurance and aerobic power are often referred to as aerobic capacity, as sustaining a higher intensity of activity for a period of time can contribute to an improvement in aerobic power, aerobic endurance, or a multitude of factors that may influence an individual's anaerobic threshold. The anaerobic or lactate threshold is the point in the aerobic range above which fatigue accumulates more rapidly, and this variable has important implications in endurance-based sports, such as running a half marathon, for it results in you being both physically and mentally unable to run any further. Again, to reference the Canadian Society for Exercise Physiology, the most effective way to increase aerobic capacity is a combination of LSD, or long, slow distance training, and HIIT, or high intensity interval training. Long, slow distance training breaks a longer duration of exercise into easily manageable components and then progressively increases the proportion of the work component within that duration over a training plan. High intensity interval training breaks higher intensities of work into smaller manageable pieces separated by moderate intensity recoveries. Interval training is a method that can improve aerobic power and the capacity to sustain high work rates, thereby improving aerobic capacity for improved performance. Intervals can be manipulated from a work to recovery ratio in the moderate to high intensity range of aerobic training. Seen here is our long, slow distance training routine we created for Susan. According to the American College of Sports Medicine, aerobic activities can be performed up to 5 days a week. You definitely need those rest days to let your body recuperate and adapt to the stress. Susan would perform her run 3 days a week and progress each week as shown in the program. This way, she can gradually increase the duration of her sustained intensity. To complement her LSD training, we've created a HIIT routine for Susan to complete 2 days a week, preferably on non-consecutive days. As before, Susan can progress each month as she increases her aerobic capacity. This training should be performed on a treadmill to ensure proper intensities are met and maintained. As the intervals increase intensity, the recovery time increases as well to reflect the rest needed from the higher levels of work performed. If Susan follows our routine and maintains a proper diet for the next 3 months, she will no doubtingly finish her half marathon with a smile.